Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you. I had to take a few days off. I finally have gotten over a cold. I was sick, as many of you know, on Sunday for the collective. And it took me about 3 days of full recovery and just self-care to get back to normal. But I'm here today for the full moon, which is also a supermoon, and it's the hunter's moon as well. So we're going to take a look at what this particular full moon is bringing forth. And I always like to look at opportunities to release. So that's one thing that we're going to look at here as well. I'm going to turn one more light on and we're going to put Apollo right in the background there just to say hello as I get set up here. All right. So here's what I'd like to focus on first. I think doing a Celtic cross would be great. And the Celtic cross is just going to help us identify everything, past, present, and future energy for this particular lunar event. It's like taking a pulse. We're right at the midpoint of the month, so this is almost functioning as like a checkpoint. How are we tracking from all of the October forecasts that I've posted? How are we doing, and how can we course correct? So once upon a time, I used to do mid-month readings. That's kind of what this is. And I've been trying to keep up with all the lunar ones, so I hope you guys enjoy. All right, we're going to probably do the elements after this. So general first, then I'll kind of dig into the signs, and then we'll probably wrap it up. I like to keep these short, so let's begin. Close your eyes, and let's set the intention in this moment on receiving guidance in the highest form. We're going to let go of any preconceived notions and just really see, again, potential blocks and potential opportunities. Lunar readings are really good for those. Okay, let's begin. And yeah, this is a day to be gentle. Even though it is, I was like, I think I can show up. I can't do a full monthly reading until probably tomorrow. I'll start up again. And then it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. But sometimes you just have to slow down, right? Myself included. All right. Let's begin. Full moon, what do we need to focus on? I decided here to use the Crow deck because it's just seasonally right, and it seemed to fit with this as well. Then I may use a couple of the new decks that I have. They're all over to the side. Okay. I think because it's lunar, we don't need to do a full health, wealth, love, and destiny, but we will do a catalyst card. And what I'm going to do, I'll interact a bit with members during the live stream. Everybody can watch on replay. Everyone can comment on replay, but I try to give a few perks to everybody that is able to support me with membership. So that's what this is. Okay, let's begin with your catalyst card first and foremost. So for the catalyst, we have the Morning Dew Girl. So the Morning Dew, this was something cool that I didn't even, like I was born in the Western States, and then when I was about 9 or 10, we moved to the East Coast, and it was the first time I ever saw dew, because when you live in a desert, it happens occasionally, but not on a consistent way and not like all over the grass. I remember walking out and it was like all these little diamonds outside, and I thought it was really cool. So when I think of that, I think of morning, I think of opportunity, and the water is also the release of emotions that we really need to kind of allow ourselves to release each and every day so that we don't step into tomorrow with the same drama, the same anger, frustration, et cetera, that we had the day before. So the first thing that I'm getting is, as much as you can release today, let it go. But then for the rest of this month, the last couple of weeks, really remember to have that mental and emotional reset each and every day, okay? And just like a cold, which I went through, it helps us kind of process things too. So whatever you need to do to process and release, whether that's an artistic endeavor, talking to a therapist, or just doing something fun. There's so many different ways to exercise. Exercise can be part of it, but we're really trying to get it out of the energy So the blinders come off. I've noticed, because I pay attention to all of our dailies, there's been a lot of reversals over this past week, and more so than usual, and then two of swords. And to me, that's asking us to look at things from a different perspective. So let's do that today, and let's take a look at this Celtic cross. All right, let me just move these here because they're getting in the way of the light. Okay. So right at the center, we have the Chariot and we have Justice. So there are situations right now that are going on that could have to do with control, and then decision-making that is maybe going counter to what other people want you to do. It's so important for you to stand your ground. That's the first thing that I'm getting with this card. And I mentioned in the daily reading that some of you might be having challenges with someone that you love a lot or care about a lot, and it's like you're on different sides of the street on this particular one, this topic or this thing, and I wish, well, eventually we're going to have more than a minute. YouTube changed that, but until that's completely rolled out, I'm going to add to that for those of you that are watching. So I said that one of the things that you could do was strategize, but I didn't exactly say what to do next, other than to take care of yourself. So for strategizing, you really have to decide, is it worth it? Is it worth having the conversation with the person? Are they open to it? If it is, then stand your ground. Be strong. Continue to steer the ship. And if this is your life, there was like a Billy Joel song, I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life. Basically, you have to eventually just understand that you have to travel down that path with or without approval or appreciation or support sometimes. So you don't have to have the other person agree with you, but they can try to respect your opinion and vice versa. I think if you can get to that at the end of the day, it's going to be okay. We're not doing it so much nowadays, but you can disagree and still love someone. You can disagree with their opinion or their approach, but still respect them. So if you can do that, I feel like that's the happy medium on this, perhaps, because I did get a little bit of an impasse. The Chariot is also getting organized and really taking something to the next level. So on this full moon, you can plan. You're going to let go of the feeling of should I or can I. You're going to sit in that resolve of this is happening. And what you can start to do is plan a little bit and think about what that next step might be. So we're releasing the doubt. We're releasing the need for others to approve. We're releasing the need to try to control them and get them to agree. And we're going to focus instead on putting the hands on the steering column and deciding where to drive. And that's really what this Chariot card is all about. Okay, crossing it was Justice. Justice was on its side. Really, we can read it as upright. But I still see a little bit of balancing to do. So that's why the self-care piece came in for the daily card. Now we're taking it next level here. So the Justice card is showing you how to take care of yourself. What in your life creates more balance? What creates an imbalance? And what are you going to do over this next couple of weeks? Because we're really looking at the end of October to keep the equilibrium or establish it if it doesn't exist. Justice can simply be saying yes or no to something. It's a decisive card. So the sooner you can get to that state of knowing and believing and being decisive, I think it's going to be, it's going to embolden you, and it's going to really, really help. Legal matters may also be something that you want to focus on, and don't be afraid to point to the dotted line if someone didn't follow through on something. So all of these things can help create better balance in your life and help you get what you deserve. In the deep past, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Speaking of that wheel, holding the wheel, some of you are deciding, it's kind of like when you have to turn the car, right? You have to crank it sometimes if it's a big turn. I feel like for some of you, you've been in the throes of that life change, career change, or pivot. And now it's just about taking a deep breath and then hitting the ignition or hitting the sort of accelerator. So you're exactly where you need to be, even if it's just been a lot of this. And like it takes a minute to turn the ship or turn the car, and now you're okay. So don't give up. Don't give up, even if you haven't seen progress, because I feel like that's the frustration. But the Wheel of Fortune's still there, and it keeps on turning, and eventually it goes towards the energy of fortune and opportunity and achievement. So you have to, the wheel, you experience every part or facet of the wheel. And I know some of you are trying to get to that other side. Keep pushing. You're making the right trajectory, the right decision here, because we see the Ace of Pentacles here, and it's right here in the recent past. So this is you deciding to really embrace one thing and give it your full attention over the course of the next couple of weeks. The more you can be specific and focused and resolute, the more you're going to see progress. That's why you have to be picky with the Justice card. That's why you have to stand your ground and sometimes just go in a different direction than someone who can't or won't see it from your perspective, right? So what I love about this is we also see like different seasons or different energies around this particular ace. An ace is a seed that is planted, and just like a bulb or a seed in the ground, it can take, a few weeks or a few months to bear fruit. Sometimes even longer, up to 1 full year when we have an ace. So you're changing trajectory and planting a seed, and that seed needs your time and energy and belief and consistent involvement in order to be fruitful. So don't give up and keep on keeping on. For those of you that like to garden, you already understand that, but for those that don't, you always plan a couple seasons ahead. So in the fall, you'll put in the tulips and the gladiolas and the crocus bulbs, all of that stuff, and then you have to wait 3 to 6 months to see them pop through the ground, right? But that's the reward. Financial advisors, same sort of thing. You've got to put things in there, we'll do a stable investment like a CD. It's going to take 3, 9, 12 months or whatever to yield a return. Good things sometimes take a while. So be patient rather, and keep the energy in the sort of investing phase here, okay? We received this card, this exact card, because I used it over the past week, and I was talking about the heart. I think it was like a couple of days ago, coming in between, right? We had the Two of Swords and Two of Cups, so this was probably the last one that we just did. So anyway, what I talked about on this was a little bit of crosstalk, because the beaks are connected. The heart isn't quite connected to them, and that's why I was really speaking about empathy, but didn't get a chance to say it because it's only 1 minute. So I'm getting a chance to elaborate on a couple of these dailies, which are presenting themselves here. This is right here in your headspace right now. So speaking from the heart, trying to empathize and put yourself in someone else's shoes, and when there's an impasse, also trying to get them to see it from your perspective as well. You could say, I'm sure you've been through this before. I remember when you did that and I was there for you. Can you try to at least do the same here? So we're trying to find emotional common grounds between one another without pointing a finger, without getting angry. And by finding what you have in common, you can usually overcome your differences, right? This is also a time where you might just be pulling back a little bit from social endeavors and relationships that might be draining. A Two of Cups reverse can sometimes be one person in your life that constantly needs but doesn't return on the energy. And because we have Justice in the center, you may be asking for a little bit more give and take, a little bit more balance there. And that's completely natural and normal. So I'm getting that as well, okay? So this looks really, really good here. So 7 of Wands comes on the heel of the 6 of Wands, which is, actually we've got the 8, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 of Wands, sorry. So 8 of Wands here usually is a bunch of rockets flying through the air. So all the stuff that we just talked about is setting you into this sort of like rocket ignition energy. And that's why it's important to balance out your relationships. That's why it's important to stand your ground. And it's also important to not give up on whatever this Ace of Pentacles is, because that's the past, that's the future, the near future. And it all is kind of in the balancing scales right now. So keep everything sort of together here, and then we have something that is a couple of steps after success, actually. 6 of Wands is success. 8 of Wands is because you've done such a great job. There's just going to be a lot of movement. This means that the end of October's busy, folks. Of course, we have a holiday at the end, Halloween, but it's just going to pick up the pace a little bit here. And for many of you, this could actually bring bountiful opportunities when it comes to work, social engagements, money, and you're in a good place here. It's also very interesting because the Nine of Pentacles is pretty independent, and this, I was mentioning that some of you might be wanting to pull back a little bit. So I see that. Maybe you want to focus a little bit more on self-work, work, school, or just enjoying a moment or two to yourself and focusing on finishing something up without the distraction of everyone else in your life. So ultimately, I really, really love this coming through as a representation of you. Slow and steady wins the race. We don't have the snail on here, but you all know that I love that. But what we do see is fruitful energy. And I said it takes a while to have that ace bear fruit, but we see it coming through here eventually. Change is good. So change could also bring you some of this abundance, a change of attitude, a change of location, a change of job. The Wheel of Fortune is a change-oriented card, and when it's reversed, something needs to shift. So whatever changes you decide to make now will definitely pay off in the long run, right? Okay. Anything else with this? Be open to receive assistance, advice, or opportunities. The only thing that can ever happen sometimes with the Nine of Pentacles is a person can be so inwardly focused that they miss out on something. All right, let me take another drink and then we're going to talk about this. Okay. So, interestingly enough, I feel like some of you may be at a point in your life where you're asking yourself, do I need to keep doing this alone? And you don't. I see partnership energy coming through for you. The interesting thing with this is, again, I feel like this is in the environment. There could be opportunity knocking for some of you. You may find yourself in the throes of success or being put into a larger sort of, a larger stage. And I think for you, if you can do it with someone else, that could be easier. So seeking out a mentor, seeking out a partner, seeking out sort of advice in this moment could really help you. I don't feel like you have to do this alone. That's the big takeaway that I'm getting here. And when we look here at the Two of Wands here in hopes, fears, and opportunities, for many of you, this also represents being able to take a vision to the next level. And then we have Three of Pentacles here in the outcome, which is a chance for you to graduate, basically, learn, get some recognition. And for those of you that happen to be writing, publishing, or putting something into written form, don't give up on that. This next 2-week period, because this is really like a fortnight, this reading, this next 2-week reading or two-week period is going to give you what you need to complete a task at hand. You can do it alone. It might be better if you do it with partners. I think that the sooner you can kind of decide what it is that you want, the better. And what we're going to do here, I'd like to take the traditional cards here, traditional Rider-Waite-Smith cards for a second, and I want to pull a question or like a reader's choice here. And I want to say, what's the biggest block and what's the biggest opportunity? So I don't know if I still have it. Yeah, we're going to do blessings and blocks. So let's look at the blessing. Let's look at the block. And this will help you overcome whatever challenges might be here. So the blessing, like I said, with the Nine of Pentacles in this period of time, some of you might be opening up to a new opportunity. It could be presented to you. It could be something that you just need to kind of like turn the ignition and decide, I want to do this, right? And I think the only thing that holds you back sometimes on that is it's just a matter of kind of like taking it's like getting up in the morning, right? You know your alarm has gone off and you know you're going to be happy once you get into the kitchen, have some coffee and just kind of wake up. But it's the first step. I think taking the first step will get you closer to that blessing and just believing like, I've got this. It's not going to necessarily have to be a difficult experience, right? Then we have the Eight of Wands here as the potential block. So some of you have something in your life where you're thinking, if I only could have, I wish I would have, maybe I should finish that. Maybe I should go back. Okay, See if that resonates right now. This is unfinished business. So definitely tie up the loose ends if you want or need to. Before making any major decision, sleep on it, take a step back, get some perspective. And this can be an opportunity where you decide to finish something. Again, we're getting partnership energy coming through. And I think this could be really nice. Four of Wands tends to be one of the best cards for marriage, partnership, friendship. And that's why I feel like you don't have to make any of these steps or decisions alone. So whether you're in the blessing energy of something great's coming through, or the block of, I wish I could have done this differently, getting some advice from a trusted colleague, friend, or loved one could really help open up your sort of path towards completing it without fear. Really, we're releasing some fear in this moment. So highlights, and then we're going to move on to elemental check-in, and then I'm going to ask members if they're going through anything and possibly pull some cards on that. So the highlights right now, opportunity is knocking. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles coming through. Recent past, the presenting card for you, and then also the blessing itself. Challenges, just making the decision, not giving up, not being impatient. Also, some of the blocks could be relationships, a draining person in your life, or someone that you see the world differently than, and you're trying to find a way to not have that take up so much mental real estate. But if you can get above that, we see a lot of progress, we see partnership, and we see completion. This is great for publishing. This is great for anybody that wants to use written communication to get something out there. It's also good for like engineers or anybody that wants to get a patent. This is good. This is recognition. It's in writing. There's a seal of approval. And it can also be like a teacher or mentorship role as well. So I like the note that you're ending on. Most of the challenges in this full moon are manageable. I feel like October's tracking pretty well overall. Let's drill a little bit deeper into the individual signs, and we'll do it through an elemental breakdown. So let me just get all the cards to the side so there's no distractions. We're going to use a different deck. Let's see. So that was the Crow Tarot. I'm going to put this away. And I may use the Curious Travels one. That was one of my new favorites. We're using animals because the moon reminds me of animals. Okay, so this is one of the new ones that I got. And I'm going to use this for the elemental breakdown. So if you're new to the channel, basically, here's how I break it down. We're going to take a look at fire, earth, air, and water and see what's coming through for all the signs beneath those elements. All right. Okay, here we go. Fire, earth, air, and water. Okay, beautiful cards. Let's begin with fire first. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Pretty good card coming through for this particular lunar event. We have the Three of Cups, friendship, partnership, fun, parties, having a good time. For the most part, Three of Cups is fantastic. The only challenge that can happen with this is if you're trying to get someone to commit, often they just want to be in the flow of the moment, or you may be trying to rush something to a decision. And the dance, the exchange, the courtship phase is the most important. This is true in friendship and love and business and life. Have some fun in the honeymoon phase. Have some fun in the getting to know you phase. There'll be plenty of time for work. Today in particular, just have some fun. Very rarely am I going to say just go out and enjoy yourself, but that's the main message with this. Avoid extremes, but that includes extreme, like working too much and not having fun. Everything in moderation, but otherwise have a good time. There could be someone new that comes into your life that is curious, that is interested. They're not exactly sure, but that's why you engage in the Three of Cups ritual, which is just to see if this is what you want. If you are in the process of trying to settle on something big, like a job, a house, or a place to live or something like that, This is saying shop around. Look and see what's out there. Make sure that you have a chance to get the Goldilocks option. One's going to be too expensive. One's going to be too small. One's going to be located too far away. But one of those is going to be just right. 3 is a magic number when you're presenting choices. Usually there's a couple of extremes and a happy medium. So that's one last piece of advice. But overall, I feel like my fire signs are going to have a good day and a good end of the week. So have some fun with the 3 of Cups. Avoid gossip and avoid cliques. Cliques are like the mean girls where people don't want to be inclusive. So try to be inclusive. And if there's anybody that's exclusive that won't let you in, you're better off without them. You deserve something better. So that's all my fire signs. Let's move on to Earth. Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, 5 of Cups. Change of perspective. A change of attitude can kind of give you a change in latitude. It can help you go to a different direction. What you need to do with 5 of Cups is process the loss or the disappointment, but not at the expense of missing the opportunity. 2 cups are still upright. Those 2 cups could represent 2 opportunities, 2 passions, a person, something worth celebrating. It's also that you don't have to do this alone. Also, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, it's very hard to see the bridge, but they put it in a really nice position here. So I like to refer to it as the bridge over troubled water. You can just decide to move on, move away, and that movement is almost creating a crown over their head. So when you decide to take that bridge, everything's going to change. It's going to be an upgrade. So I'm encouraging movement for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. It'll be good. A trip could be good. It could change your perspective. And even just deciding to reach outside of your comfort zone. The bridge can mean so many things, but that's kind of what it's showing me. And ultimately, we can start to get to the opportunity there. Just like the 4 of Cups, but in a slightly more emotional way, the universe is pointing at something different than this. It's more exacerbated or more intense in the 5 of Cups so that you don't stay there any longer than you should. Also, if you have buyer's remorse on something or it just doesn't feel right, go back and get your return. The 5 of Cups, you're never going to be happy with it, okay? That's why there's a return policy, and it's a good time to do that. So don't settle. That's the final takeaway for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. In anything in life, don't settle if you're not happy, okay? You're worth more than that. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And happy birthday to all my Libras right now, by the way. We have the 7 of Cups. So many of you are exploring options. You may be a little confused. You may be overwhelmed by everything that's going on. And so one thing that I would say here is know when enough is enough. So when researching things, you only have so much time, so much money, so much energy. Put a cap on how much you can or should do. This is even though it's water, it's air. It's a mix of the two because the cups are in the air. So what this is really speaking to, it's appropriate for air signs, is don't overthink it. And it's especially for Libras since it's your birthday season, but everybody under the element of air. Gemini, you do it too. Aquarius, maybe not as much, but occasionally. Don't get in your headspace too much. Don't be stubborn and don't overthink. Get right in that center space thinking, let's just move forward. Enough now, right? And that's really what this is. Now, flip side, because it can be a fun card. If you haven't given yourself a chance to daydream, dream, or wonder, now is a time to do anything that can get you inspired. Reading a book, watching a movie, listening to a podcast, watching a documentary, hanging out with a different group of people. It broadens your perspective. Anything that can open your mind, now is the time to do it. You may find yourself going down a path that you never thought that you would, okay? So be open, be decisive, and explore. By the way, traveling would be really good to get you out of your headspace as well, okay? Pretty good overall for the air signs. Let's go to the water now. We have the 3 of Wands coming through here. This is a really cool 3 of Wands. So I like it because it almost feels like the hand is going out to grab the opportunity. So we see the sun rising. Typically there's ships out there, but I feel like this person is there even before the ships have come. They know that there's an opportunity that's going to happen. They're going to be the early bird, and they're going to get that worm, and things are going to be okay. So wake up early. Be optimistic, be proactive. Don't wait for something to come to you. Don't be afraid to ask or create or pave or forge something rather than be on the sort of like, where is it? I've been manifesting. Part of manifesting is also meeting opportunity, recognizing it, meeting it, etc. Three of Wands is fantastic for travel. So if you want to travel to expand your opportunities, travel for an interview, explore something to get inspired, all of that is part of this. And we also see something just coming to fruition. There is an immediacy in the Three of Wands. Like if you were wondering when, the answer on this one is now. Like not just now, it's happening. Go catch up to it. It was starting before the reading even began. So it may just require looking over in a different direction. So the Three of Wands only works if you're showing up at the right time or looking. And what could be blocking, like some of you, depending on the different energy, like what your placement is, it could be this, like grieving something that didn't happen the way that you wanted it to. So you can also look at these for sun, rising, and moon if you want to and kind of adjust it as needed. Overall, these are pretty good cards, I would say, for this week. The most challenging probably is the Five of Cups, but it still has a silver lining in those two cups that are upright. Okay, let's take a moment here. And members, what's going on with you? Put a couple of comments on how you're feeling in this full moon, and I'll take a look at it. And then for all the non-members that might be watching, we're still going to do a final card. So you can still ask a question to Spirit, and I'll pull a card no matter what. Keep the questions kind of broad. You could say, I'm feeling this in relationships, or I'm feeling this way in work, and then that way I can kind of look at it for everybody. So I'll give you a moment or two to ask a question. I'm going to look at what's already in chat right now. And I see that some of you are overwhelmed. So I'm going to begin with looking at how to get out of that emotional heaviness, basically. Okay? All right. So we're going to begin with the question that some of you are asking about just how do I deal with feeling overwhelmed? So that's a really good question for being in a full moon, by the way, something that's really normal. Have any of you noticed sleep disturbances? Now, for me, part of it had to do with my cold, but I had the hardest time sleeping last night and the night before. I just kept waking up more than usual. So that's why I was also like, I can't do readings right now because my sleep's interrupted. So I'm feeling better today, and last night was a little bit better, but getting rest and meditating in the day is one thing right off the bat that's helped me. All right, for everybody else, going through that feeling of being overwhelmed. Okay, so we have Five of Swords energy. Okay, I get it. So first of all, the Five of Swords isn't just people in your life. I'm going to pull the traditional one. This is cool, but it lacks some of what I'm looking for here. We just see really the inner saboteur here, but let's pull the traditional one. So what happens with Five of Swords sometimes is we get into our headspace and we think, just like the person that sometimes is like the little devil on your shoulder. Someone will think you're not good enough. It's not going to happen. The Seven of Swords tries to tempt you into something. The Five of Swords will try to tell you you can't do it. Or you're not listening to your own higher common sense, higher intuition, higher self. And so this is basically giving you a chance to not let that voice, the inner saboteur, get away with it. So here's the saboteur. He's having fun. Look at that expression on his face. Much to the chagrin and dismay of everyone else here. He knows how to get the last word in. He knows how to get under your skin. He knows how to push your buttons. Sometimes we know how to do that for ourselves. And it's basically the insecurities coming through. So one thing that I would say right now is know that you are more poised for success and more poised for good things to come through than you may realize. So take it with a grain of salt and don't let the voice win. That's what I get with this. Okay? Okay. I'm going to do a different deck for the next one. We're just going to have some fun using different ones. So let's see what else is going on with some of the members right now. I'm going to look at the sleep thing since many of you have had it. It's very normal during a full moon to have wild dreams. Supermoons are closer to the planet. So for those that are sensitive, like myself, it just means like, wow. It's almost like you had 5 espressos before going to bed. It's not going to end well. Know that it is a concentrated event and it's already starting to lessen. But in general, let's see what, I'm going to put it in a more spiritual question. What can we put to rest so that we can get to rest? Because I feel like that's part of it. There's something occupying, oh, there was a card here from a different deck. Very interesting. There was something occupying our time and energy that shouldn't. Okay. Okay, so we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a balancing card. And so for many of us, we're trying to make everybody happy, be everything to everyone. And like I said, it takes time for things to come to fruition. With this, first of all, say no. And just like me, so I had 2 voices on my shoulders. One saying, you're going to get behind, Nicholas. You have to do the videos. And the other one said, go to sleep. You need to go to sleep. So sometimes I just had to say no to the workaholic, yes to the self-care. There could be someone in your life that just, it's never enough, right? You are always trying to make them happy. You're given 100%, but it's never going to be enough. So in this moment, you just think, no, we're good. I don't need to focus on that anymore. And I know it's easier said than done, but you have to pick and choose your battles and you have to leave enough energy for yourself. So when this card is reversed, the battery is not charged fully. So it's like leaving the house with your phone on 15%. You know you're not going to get through the day, right? You got to get at least to 60 or 70%. I don't understand people that will do, like, they're making a phone call at 5% and sending a text. I'm like, charge your phone. So the same thing would happen here for you. Charge your battery, charge your internal battery. I feel like, and that is what I've been doing. I was like, even if I'm not sleeping, I'm still resting. I wouldn't even allow myself to watch TV. I'm like, no, just breathe, just let it go. And then eventually I would get back to sleep. So give yourself the rest that you need to recharge. Cut things out of your life that are not creating balance. Remember, we had balance at the center. This is the second scales card that came through. There's always hands outstretched. People will let you work as much as you're willing and ready to work. For those of you in a relationship or a job where everybody is really pushy, needy, or just isn't really appreciative, this is giving you that sort of permission to say, no, I got to go in a different direction, okay? All right, that was very helpful. Let's take a look at the next question here. Okay, so what's next? I think that's good just in general. So maybe this is for those of you that are feeling a lack of grounding and wondering, what can I do next? What can I focus on? So whether you're feeling energized or not, there could be this curiosity or wonderment that is coming through in this moment. And so let's see what the sort of like, what's on the horizon? What's on the horizon? And this could maybe give some of you hope. Watch me pull the devil. But we'll make it good even if we get that. So what's on the horizon? Okay, thank goodness. 4 of Cups. I just pull the cards. Who knows what's coming through? So the 4 of Cups we talked about earlier, like 5 of Cups is a little bit intensified version of this. It's interesting that there's a rat on this because the rat is a very intelligent symbol. So I can look at any totem and see the positives. So here's what the rat brings forward on the 4 of Cups. There's always a way. And now is a time to really lean into your intelligence and into your problem solving. Mice and rats will find a way. They will get through any possible opening. They will make it when other things can't. So we're going to lean on the intelligence part of the rat and say, you have exactly what it takes to solve a problem. And there's a low-hanging fruit right in front of you because on the 4 of Cups, they're typically, I don't need to go to the traditional one, there's typically a cup in the air and the person's like this, and there's 3 cups in front of them. This rat is saying, nah, I'm just going to look around. I'm not going to get upset. I'm going to find that extra cup while you're sitting there like this. So you're going to lean on the energy of ingenuity, imagination, intuition, and just pushing through, finding a way. That's what I get with this. So even a rat can be a good symbol when we're looking at tarot. I've done totems long enough that I'm like, yeah, they're pretty smart. So let's see. What else is going on with some of you? And then I'll keep keep an eye on my time here and my voice here so I don't lose it. Okay, I'm glad that you guys are making changes. What else is going on? For those of you that are highly sensitive, we could take a quick look at that as well. And then maybe even just like how to recharge, and then we'll go to the final question perhaps. All right, so for those that are just feeling increased sensitivity, the Tower. This is no surprise. There's something in your life that needs to be shifted or changed around. So when I was going through my cold, I realized I had a really sore throat that hit me at the beginning of the week, but it was too sore. And I was like, I was having some acid reflux, which was making it even worse. It felt like a billion fire ants in my throat, which is why I was like, I can't work. I can't even speak for a few days here. You have to get to the bottom of something. One thing is just sort of like a presenting issue. And I was into it. I was like, I need to go to an ENT. And then they were like, oh, it's this. And then, oh, okay. Everything was good then. So don't just pay attention to the one thing. Go deeper. There's something else in your life that could be creating that sense of fatigue or imbalance, or emotions that is coming through. So it could be environmentally. That's really what I was picking up on when I looked at this tower. A tower in reverse can be a messy house. It can be a messy computer. It can be finances that are in disarray. It's something that needs to be organized, and it's finding its way into your life just like that rat was, and it's getting into your head when you're trying to sleep or you're trying to concentrate. So the best thing that you could do during the full moon is organize. Take a look at stuff, research. Don't get overwhelmed. Just one step at a time. Like for any of you that have unpacked in a house, one box at a time, one room at a time. And that's the way to get sort of clarity. If you pick a corner and get that clear, it kind of like sets you in the right direction. You're like, all right, let's do that. And pretty soon the whole room is clear. And then you go over there and pretty soon that's clear. And it starts to build momentum. So get organized in the most inspirational of ways. That's my advice on that. Okay? Okay. I'm going to now just ask Spirit what you need to know. And we're going to look at an oracle card for this. Not what you want to know, but what you need to know. Sometimes that's one of my special topics for the weekend. Okay, this one is really showing you the importance of time to yourself. Also, just not necessarily feeling like you need to make it productive. So we have solitude, tranquility, and contentment. It's okay to just be. I had a family member who's no longer with us, but like they were very much a planner. So if you took a holiday with them, it was not relaxing. There was an itinerary. There's two different ways to have a vacation or holiday. One is to go to a destination and just relax. Another one is to have a checklist of 15 things that you have to see by noon. And it is a way to see it. It's sightseeing, but you're not necessarily relaxing. So this is the relaxing end of it. And I'm not casting judgment. There's a time and a place for both. But during this period of time, Spirit wants you to just be quiet and alone with yourself and your own thoughts. And for those of you that constantly surround yourself with people, it does not have to be all day. It could just be an hour or so to collect your thoughts, to see what's going on. How do I feel? Because if you're just going like the Energizer Bunny all the time, you kind of lose perspective, okay? And that's a really nice message to come through. Sometimes we need that sort of like wake-up call, right? Okay. I like to keep these a little bit on the shorter side so that everybody can digest them. But with that being said, for those that are non-members, I'd like you to focus on and everybody that's watching, by the way, I'd like you to focus on a single question. This is the final card for today. One thing that you really need clarity on. And let's take a look and see what Spirit has to say. We'll just use the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith for this. Ooh, I like it. As a yes or no, this is yes. It's basically the universe saying take the first step. Either the first step toward or away from something. And it can be both at the same time. I always tell the story of when I quit people were saying you're walking away from your career. I'm like, or am I walking toward the next one, right? Am I walking towards the next path? And when you flip that, they were like, oh, okay, you have thought this through, you're ready. So you can do both. You can walk away from one thing and towards something, and it can all happen at once. Just keep it moving. That's the main thing here. And it's like I was talking about with cleaning up a mess, one step at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. The dog on this card is also saying, look where you're walking, look where you're going. Not only is it your faithful companion, like Apollo in the background, which I'm going to pull up on the camera. So yes, we all have our little, dog from the Fool. But in addition to that, it's also saying, hey, take a look over here. Listen to this. Listen to your instincts, right? So we're getting a little bit of it with that. Other things with the Fool. During this period of time, this next fortnight, it would be great to just to get out and about. You don't have to get on a plane. You don't have to get on a bus. You don't have to do anything extraordinary. All you have to do is kind of walk out and about. You might run into someone, or you might get inspired by something. And you never know until you kind of change up the energy. This is also a reset. It has the number 0 on it in most decks. And so this is a chance to just clean the slate. And I think that's probably one of the most beneficial things that you could do in this moment. All right, everybody. That was our special reading for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to take a moment just in case we had anybody new to say welcome while I'm doing that. A quick reminder, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, you can show some love and support by subscribing. By the way, today, I noticed some people saying they didn't get notifications. Follow me on at least one of these other social media platforms. And I did post everything today. I don't always, but I'm like, let me give everyone 1 hour or a little bit more, and then we post it. So that's a great way to make sure that you don't miss out. YouTube doesn't always send it out, so I understand. You can also give back through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. Memberships, I try to give a little bit extra. Sometimes it's for the lunar and solar events, I'll do member-only chat, but I make it open to everybody. So I try to give back in a way that's not kind of like holding anyone out, but sometimes you can ask questions. Sometimes there's a coupon code or whatever, so I try to do special perks like that. You can always go to my website if you need any sort of link that you don't know, like again with the social medias. Remember, by the way, I don't give private readings and I don't use direct messages. So for anybody that tries to pretend that they're me, you know who the real Nicholas Ashbaugh is. So I'd like to say thanks to those who did give back today. Give me a second here just to see if we did have any contributors. And then, like I said, I'll be getting back into my my sort of like production in the next couple of days here. So thanks for your patience while I was getting better. Okay, so let me see here. Why can't I find this? Because it's been a minute. All right, memberships. I'm going to see if we have any new members that joined today. We have one, Lady Intrigue. Thank you for joining or rejoining today. I appreciate it. And let's see if there were any stickers. And then we'll wrap up for today. So let's see. Super stickers. Why can't I see it? Here we go. For today, there were 2, Raven and Alicia. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed this. And for everyone, this is just my gift. I hope you enjoyed that. As some of the people in chat said, make sure that you do like. And if you're brand new, please do subscribe. It is free. These interactions help this video. When this is on replay, everybody leave a comment. Put a picture of a moon. Let me know what you're going through. Let me know what resonated. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap up here with Apollo, who is sleeping in the background, just holding some space. I hope everybody has a great week ahead. Thanks, Apollo, for being here as well. And I hope you all enjoyed this. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.